you talk about the relationship with Coach John Thompson, who just passed. And I know your Hall of Fame, he was there when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so I was looking at some things, and it's amazing, of all the years, you, Coach John Thompson, Tubby Smith, Kevin Ollie at UConn, maybe 5 years ago, the only black coaches win a national championship. And I'm just curious how you think about that, and if you feel like there should be how there should be more minority coaches in positions to be able to win at that level.
That's the difference, because when you say the only black coaches, I go back to thinking about the days in El Paso when in Texas there were only one black head coach at a predominantly white or Hispanic school, or in the state of Texas. And then I think just one, that was me. And then I go to junior college, and there's 49 junior colleges, and I'm the only black in that junior college route. And we go to the Final Four twice, and we win the national championship at 37-0. And a couple of years later, they hired some more blacks to become coaches. Then to go to Tulsa, it was the same identical situation. And no black coach had ever been in Tulsa, OU, Oklahoma State, none of those places. And then you come to Arkansas in the Southwest. And it's the same scenario. And the question is, I worked as hard as I could because I know that I was be judged in a group as opposed to individual. We're judged in groups, blacks are. Oh, he didn't do good, so this other guy behind you ain't gonna get a chance. And that's why I say I got a lot of learning from my grandmother. She would say, you have to endure much more pain than the white kid, much more, of being able to be accepted to be what you want to be. And she was a lover of Jackie Robinson. And the reason this conversation would come up is because in baseball, I had to stay with a black family when we went to the state tournament because I wasn't allowed to stay in the hotel. So all my baseball team was Hispanic, and I was the only blacks. So they drive the bus, drop me off, and then they go to the hotel. And the next year, I decided I'm not going this time. And my grandmother called me and said, "You're going." I said, "Yes, ma'am." Whatever she said, "You're doing something," I did. But I couldn't understand it at the time. At the age of 15, 16, I have to go. Later on, little did I know that I played for UTEP, and I was the only black. And they had a tournament in Louisiana. And they told them that I could not play on the court. And I was their leading scorer, second in rebounding. And they left me home because they just didn't allow us to do things. So when we talk about the coaches, I feel that my job, the good Lord bless me, was to try to open doors. And the only way you can do that, you got to win. Anyway, that's the only, it's amazing. People love winners. You can do a lot of things and you can be a lot of everything, but winning?
They start listening. You start winning, right?
Big time. They start listening, they start paying attention, they start saying, why is he so successful? And to see Kevin, of course, John Thompson, I would say I copied John a lot because John was the head figure of the black coaches who had done something, who took a team like Georgetown. Georgetown was the worst school in America in basketball, the worst. And they hung John in effigy, looked like every week.
Right.
Until he got some players.
All right.
After that, the days was over for everybody because then he became the Big East, the beast of the East. So then he started recruiting guys like Mornings and Mutombo. And I mean, it just come over. I mean, it was unbelievable what he did. He opened some doors.